Deep within ancient laboratories, a symbol of immense power waited in the shadows. The alchemical dragon is far more than a mythical beast. It is the living key to understanding one of history's greatest mysteries, the transformation of the soul itself. By the end of our journey, you will possess a map to decipher this potent symbol and apply its wisdom to your own life. We will uncover why this creature represents both the chaotic starting point of all spiritual work and the glorious finish. We will explore the secret fire it guards within its scales, what part of your own nature feels as wild and untamed as a dragon. This initial chaos is the very substance of transformation, a truth embodied by the dragon as the Prima Materia. In alchemical terms, the Prima Materia is the primal, unformed matter, the base substance from which the entire great work begins. It is the raw, chaotic potential that exists before order is imposed, before gold is made. The dragon symbolizes the state perfectly. It is the unrefined soul, a mass of conflicting desires, fears, and untamed energies. Think of it as your own inner wilderness, that part of you which feels raw, instinctual, and sometimes even frightening. It is your shadow self, the collection of traits and impulses you might prefer to keep hidden away. This is not a monster to be slain, but the fundamental ore from which your truest self will be forged. Every alchemist, and by extension every person seeking genuine change, must first confront this internal dragon. This confrontation is rarely pleasant. It feels like a state of profound confusion, a feeling of being lost in a labyrinth of your own making. You might feel pulled in a dozen directions at once, your passions warring with your responsibilities, your old habits resisting your new aspirations. This dissonance, this very mess, is the Prima Materia. It is the essential starting point. Without acknowledging this raw, chaotic foundation, any attempt at change is just building a beautiful castle on sand. The true work begins not by rejecting this chaos, but by learning to work with it, to understand its nature and harness its immense, if unruly, power. The dragon devouring its own tail is one of alchemy's most profound and enduring images. This is the Ouroboros, a creature caught in an endless loop of self-consumption and self-renewal. At first glance, it seems paradoxical, even absurd. Why would a symbol of power choose to feed upon itself? But this is the very heart of its mystery. The Ouroboros represents the eternal cycle that governs all of existence, from the rotation of the seasons to the very rhythm of your breath. It is the ultimate symbol of the unity of opposites, where the head, representing consciousness and spirit, meets the tail, symbolizing the body and the unconscious. They are not at war, but locked in a sacred dance. This cycle is the engine of alchemical transformation, a process known as solve et coagula. Solve means to dissolve, to break down. It is the phase where you must willingly deconstruct your old self, your rigid beliefs, and your outworn patterns. Think of a time when a long-held belief of yours simply fell apart. That uncomfortable, disorienting feeling is the spirit of solve. The dragon is consuming its own tail, breaking down the form that once was, but this is only half the cycle. Coagula is the act of coming back together, of reassembling yourself anew from the essential pieces that remain. It is the act of rebirth. After the dissolution comes a period of integration where you consciously choose what to rebuild and what to leave behind. This is not a one-time event. The Ouroboros teaches us that transformation is a spiral, not a straight line. You will encounter the same core challenges again and again, but each time from a higher level of understanding. You dissolve a fear only to find a deeper layer of it waiting to be confronted and integrated later. The dragon eats its tail, not to destroy itself, but to be perpetually remade. This process is the essence of spiritual refinement. It asks a powerful question of you. Where in your life are you being called to dissolve an old way of being, trusting that a more authentic version of you will coalesce from the remains? The fire that the dragon guards is not just for destruction, but for this sacred, cyclical work of perpetual renewal. This fiery dragon is the living embodiment of sulfur, the first of the three sacred alchemical principles. Sulfur is not the yellow rock we burn. In the secret language of the soul, sulfur is the active, masculine, and volatile force that animates our entire being. It is the raw energy of desire, the unyielding power of will, and the very spark of consciousness that says I am. Imagine a flame that never dies, a relentless drive pushing you forward even when you feel lost. That is the sulfur within you, the dragon's fire. This is the force behind every ambition, every passion, and every craving that gives your life its direction and heat. Without this sulfur, the Prima Materia would remain a cold, inert mass, a lump of potential with no impetus to change. The dragon's fire is what heats the alchemical vessel, forcing the initial chaos to bubble and churn, beginning the great work. Yet this same fiery nature makes sulfur profoundly volatile. A dragon is not a tame creature. Its fire can forge gold just as easily as it can reduce everything to ash. In your own life, this translates to that burning ambition that can drive you to greatness, or that same passion left unchecked that can consume you in jealousy or rage. Your willpower can build empires or burn bridges. The spiritual quest is not about extinguishing this dragon's fire, but about learning to tend it like a master alchemist. How do you channel that immense, often unruly, energy toward purification and creation, rather than allowing it to explode into destructive impulses? The answer lies in understanding that this sulfur, this dragon fire, is the very fuel for your transformation. It provides the heat necessary to burn away the impurities of your lower nature, the fears and illusions that keep you bound. It is the energizing force that makes the long and difficult work of self-realization not only possible, but passionately compelling. This is why the dragon guards the secret fire so fiercely, because to master that fire is to master the very engine of your own becoming. But the alchemists knew that fire alone was not enough to create true gold. This is why they spoke of two distinct dragons, one soaring through the air and the other bound to the earth. The winged dragon represents the volatile principle, a spirit of air and fire that is constantly seeking to ascend. It is your intellect, your inspiration, and your connection to the divine. This is the part of you that dreams, that feels limitless potential, and that yearns for something beyond the mundane world. It is pure sulfur, the untamed will reaching for the heavens. Its opposite is the wingless dragon, a creature of earth and water, heavy and fixed. This dragon embodies the material world, the weight of your physical body, your habits, and your deepest, often unconscious, instincts. In alchemical terms, this is Mercury, not the metal, but the receptive, feminine principle that gives form and substance to the fiery will of sulfur. It is the Prima Materia in its raw, tangible state. Think of the difference between a brilliant idea you have, the winged dragon of inspiration, and the difficult, ground-level work required to actually bring that idea into reality. That disciplined, often tedious labor is the domain of the wingless dragon. For centuries, these two forces were depicted as adversaries, locked in a fierce and seemingly endless battle. The spiritual self struggles against the demands of the physical self. Your highest aspirations feel constantly weighed down by your most basic needs and ingrained patterns. This internal conflict is a universal experience, yet the ultimate secret of alchemy reveals that this battle is not meant to be won by one side over the other. The sacred goal, the philosopher's stone, can only be born from their sacred marriage. The winged dragon must descend and embrace the wingless one. Your spiritual aspirations must learn to inhabit your physical reality, to work with the heavy, stubborn material of your daily life and your own human nature. Conversely, the wingless dragon must be uplifted, its raw power and deep instincts illuminated by the fire of consciousness. This is the great union, the conjunctio oppositorum. It is the moment your soul's purpose finally takes root in the world of action and your everyday life becomes infused with sacred meaning. The stone is this state of wholeness where you are no longer divided against yourself. Where is that division most alive in you, between the person you aspire to be and the life you are actually living? The fusion of these two dragons is the alchemical art of turning that separation into a single, golden whole. This sacred marriage of fire and earth must have a sanctuary, a place where such a volatile union can unfold without being torn apart by the outside world. That sanctuary is the alchemical vessel, the sealed retort where the dragon is contained. Picture a glass flask, strong and perfectly sealed, holding within it the full, chaotic might of the battling dragons. This vessel is far more than a piece of laboratory equipment. It is a profound symbol for the protected inner space you must consciously create within your own awareness. It represents the focused application of your will and consciousness, a deliberate act of turning your attention inward. When you seal the vessel, you are not running from the world. You are creating the necessary conditions for a miracle to occur, a quiet laboratory of the soul where your raw, conflicting energies can safely interact and transform. Without this sacred container, the dragon's fire would rage uncontrolled, burning down your life instead of purifying your spirit. Its heavy, earthly nature would simply sink back into unconscious habit. The vessel is what allows the volatile to become fixed and the fixed to become volatile. It is the crucible of self-observation. Think of a time you felt overwhelmed by a powerful emotion, perhaps a surge of anger or a wave of despair. In that moment, your untamed dragon was loose. But if you can, even for a second, step back and simply witness that feeling without acting on it, you have created the alchemical vessel. You have contained the chaotic energy within the retort of your own conscious awareness. Inside that sealed space, something remarkable begins to happen. The warring elements are forced to confront one another. The fiery ambition and the heavy resistance can no longer escape each other. They must interact to heat and cool, to dissolve and coagulate over and over again. This is not a comfortable process. It can feel like being trapped with your own reflection in a hall of mirrors, with every flaw and contradiction magnified. Yet this very pressure, this enforced intimacy with all parts of yourself, is what generates the heat necessary for transmutation. The vessel provides the safety for the dragon to finally consume its own tail, for the old self to break down so the new one can be built. Where in your life can you build this sacred container? It might be a few minutes of silent meditation each day, a dedicated journaling practice, or simply a conscious commitment to pause before you react. This is the practical magic of the alchemist, the act of creating a space where your inner wilderness is not suppressed, but honored and guided through its own necessary, golden transformation. This motif of the knight slaying the dragon is one of our most enduring myths. We see it in stories from cultures across the world, a hero in shining armor confronting a monstrous serpent to rescue a captive maiden and claim a hoard of gold. On the surface, it is a simple tale of good triumphing over evil, but in the secret language of alchemy, this battle is not an external event. It is a profound drama playing out within the labyrinth of your own psyche. The knight represents the conscious ego, the part of you that strives for order, control, and a defined identity. He is the armored self, the persona you present to the world, determined to impose its will upon the chaos of your inner world. And the dragon he is sworn to slay is that very chaos, the untamed Prima Materia we have been exploring, your own raw, instinctual, and powerful nature. This is the ego's attempt to conquer the shadow, to slay the wild parts of yourself that feel too messy, too passionate, or too frightening to integrate. It is a necessary stage in the spiritual journey, this confrontation between the structured self and the primal self. The knight must raise his sword. He believes that by destroying the dragon, he will bring peace to the kingdom of his soul, but the alchemist understands that this battle is a delicate and paradoxical operation. The dragon cannot be truly killed, for it is the very substance of your life force. To slay it outright is to extinguish your own vitality, leaving you a hollow, sterile shell of pure order, a knight ruling over a dead and empty land. So what then is the true purpose of this epic struggle? The key lies in the prize the knight wins. The rescued maiden is not merely a damsel in distress. She is the symbol of pure consciousness, the soul's innate purity that has been held captive by the unconscious, instinctual forces represented by the dragon. She is your own potential for a clear, unobstructed awareness hidden deep within the cave of your own being. The knight's victory does not destroy the dragon's power, but liberates this consciousness from its thrall. Similarly, the treasure is not just material wealth, it is the gold of self-realization, the integrated wisdom that can only be claimed after you have faced the deepest, most formidable aspects of your own nature. The battle, therefore, is not about annihilation, but about a sacred form of defeat. The ego, the knight, must learn that its role is not to conquer the dragon, but to engage it with such courage and respect that a transformation occurs in both of them. In a true alchemical victory, the knight's sword is not a weapon of destruction, but a symbol of discernment, used to separate the pure from the impure within the dragon's own fiery essence. The dragon does not die, but is instead tamed, its chaotic power refined and redirected. Its fire becomes the fuel for the knight's own spiritual quest, and its immense strength becomes the foundation upon which a truer self is built. The maiden is freed, and her liberated consciousness then guides both the knight and the dragon, creating a trinity of wholeness. Where in your life is your inner knight trying to slay a part of yourself that feels too wild or untamed? Could that very struggle be the necessary fire that, if tended wisely, will lead you not to a dead dragon, but to the liberation of your own hidden gold? The dragon's blood holds the secret to its own transmutation. This is not the crimson gore of a slain beast, but a luminous, vital fluid, a substance so potent the alchemists called it the green lion. Picture a lion, the king of the jungle, a creature of immense power and raw vitality. Now imagine that life force distilled into a vibrant, emerald essence. This is the green lion, the very blood of the dragon, and it represents the animating spirit that flows through all of nature. It is the unrefined life force within you, your sheer vitality, your passions, your instincts, and your deepest creative energies in their most concentrated form. This force is so powerful, so untamed, that it can devour and dissolve anything less potent than itself, which is why the alchemists spoke of the green lion consuming the sun. But its ultimate purpose is not destruction. This vibrant, living essence is the crucial ingredient for brewing the legendary elixir of life. The elixir is not a potion that grants physical immortality in a fairy tale sense. It is the state of being that results when this raw life force, the dragon's blood, is fully harnessed, purified, and transmuted within the vessel of your own being. It is the achievement of spiritual vitality, a profound connection to the source of life itself that makes you feel truly, radiantly alive, unburdened by the weight of spiritual stagnation. Think of a moment when you felt an overwhelming surge of joy, creativity, or love. That raw, thrilling energy is a taste of the green lion. The problem for most of us is that this force remains wild and unintegrated. It surges forth in moments of passion and then recedes, often leaving exhaustion or confusion in its wake. The alchemical work is to learn how to draw this blood, not to kill the dragon, but to heal it, and in doing so, heal yourself. How do you gather this scattered, potent energy that leaks out in moments of anger, in compulsive desires, or in wasted anxiety? The process begins with conscious attention. Every time you observe a powerful emotion without being completely swept away by it, you are collecting a drop of the dragon's blood. Every time you channel a surge of creative impulse into a tangible action, you are distilling the green lion. This collected essence then becomes the fuel for the inner fire, heating the alchemical vessel from within and accelerating the great work of self-transformation. The one who masters this process does not merely defeat the dragon, they befriend it, learning to drink from its vital, life-giving blood, and in doing so, discover the true elixir of immortality, which is a soul so vibrantly aligned with the flow of existence that it transcends the fear of death itself. The dragon's very breath is the alchemical fire itself. This is no ordinary flame, not the kind that burns wood or lights a candle. The dragon embodies the primordial fire that animates the entire cosmos, the same sacred spark that the alchemists sought to cultivate within their furnaces and within their own souls. In the laboratory, this fire was known as the Athener, the special furnace that maintained a perfectly consistent heat for months or even years. This was not about brute force, but about a sustained, penetrating warmth that could slowly, gently, coax the base metals into a state of transformation. The dragon is this living Athener. Its inner fire provides the constant, unwavering energy required for the long and arduous work of spiritual purification. Think of a commitment you have made to change a deep-seated habit. The initial burst of willpower is like a bright flame, but it often flickers out. The dragon's fire, however, is that rare, enduring heat that persists through boredom, through setbacks, and through the sheer monotony of the process. It is the fire of relentless perseverance. This same inner flame finds a powerful echo in the ancient concept of Kundalini, often depicted as a serpent of fire coiled at the base of the spine. Like the sleeping dragon in its cave, this spiritual energy rests within everyone, a reservoir of immense potential. When awakened, it rises like a fiery serpent, burning through every blockage, every impurity, and every illusion that separates you from your highest nature. This awakening is not always a gentle experience. The dragon's fire purifies by burning away what is no longer true. It can feel like a crisis, a period of intense emotional heat where old identities, fears, and attachments are consumed in the flames. A long-held grudge may suddenly feel too heavy to carry. A story you told yourself about your own limitations may begin to crack and blacken under this intense inner light. This is the fire doing its essential work. It is not punishing you, it is liberating you from the dross that weighs down your spirit. The dragon does not shy away from this conflagration, it is born from it. To work with the dragon is to learn to sit willingly in this sacred fire, to trust that what is being burned away is not you, but what you have mistakenly believed yourself to be. It is the ultimate refiner's fire, and from its ashes, only your truest, most essential self remains, gleaming like gold. Beneath the soaring dragon of fire and air lies its ancient counterpart, the chthonic dragon of the deep earth. This is the wingless serpent that dwells in caverns, coils around roots, and guards the profound mysteries of the material world. It embodies the alchemical principle of salt, the element of solidity, structure, and preservation. If sulfur is the soul's fiery will and mercury is its fluid mind, then salt is the body itself, the tangible vessel that gives our existence weight and form. This dragon is the anchor to reality, the deep, often ignored wisdom of your physical being, and the raw, unprocessed contents of your subconscious mind. It is the heavy, fixed part of your nature that resists change, not out of malice, but from a deep, ingrained need for stability. Think of your most stubborn habit, the one that feels as solid and unmovable as a mountain. That is the chthonic dragon at work, the salt principle crystallizing a pattern into your very being. Or consider a deep-seated fear that seems to rise from a place older than your conscious thoughts, a primal anxiety that has no clear origin. This, too, is the whisper of the earth dragon, a treasure of the subconscious that has been buried for its own protection, waiting to be brought into the light. The treasures this dragon guards are not glittering jewels in a conventional sense. Its hoard is composed of your innate talents, your deepest instincts, and the raw, creative potential that lies dormant in the darkness of your unexplored self. These gems are hidden because they are often wrapped in the rough, unappealing rock of shadow, your repressed emotions, your forgotten memories, and the parts of your personality you have been taught to reject. To seek the gold, you must be willing to descend into the cave and confront the entire hoard, the beautiful and the frightening alike. This is the work of integrating the subconscious, of making the unknown known. How many of your greatest strengths are currently locked away, guarded by a dragon of fear or shame? The alchemist's task is not to slay this earthly guardian, but to patiently earn its trust. By acknowledging the weight of your body, by listening to its needs and its pains, you honor the salt principle. By courageously exploring the landscape of your dreams, your irrational impulses, and your silent intuitions, you begin to map the dragon's territory. Each time you bring a fragment of this hidden material into your conscious awareness, you are not stealing from the dragon, you are refining its treasure. You are turning leaden fear into golden courage and heavy grief into the clear salt of wisdom. This chthonic dragon is the foundation of the entire great work, for the philosopher's stone must be grounded in reality to have any true power. A spirituality that only soars in the clouds of theory is incomplete. It is the marriage of the celestial fire with the earthly salt that creates a wholeness which can truly withstand the world. Your journey toward gold must always pass through the dark, rich soil of your own deepest self. The dragon's wisdom flows across cultures, revealing a universal map of the soul's journey. In the east, the magnificent lung dragon soars through a vastly different symbolic sky. Unlike the often fearsome Western beast guarding a horde, the Chinese lung is a celestial being, a benevolent force of cosmic order and transformative power. It embodies the dynamic flow of Kai, the vital energy that animates the entire universe, from the mightiest river to the quietest breath in your body. This dragon is not a monster to be conquered, but a majestic partner in the great work of harmonizing heaven and earth. Its serpentine body moves with the fluid grace of water, while its claws grasp the powers of the air, representing the perfect union of the receptive and active principles. Where the Western alchemists sought to contain the dragon's fire in a sealed vessel, the Eastern sage seeks to align with the dragon's rhythmic dance, to ride its currents toward a state of profound balance. Both traditions, however, recognize the dragon as the master of a fundamental, transformative energy. The chaotic Prima Materia of the West finds its echo in the unrefined, wandering Kai of a life out of balance. The alchemical process of solve et coagula, of breaking down and rebuilding, mirrors the Taoist practice of circulating Kai, of gathering scattered energy and refining it into a potent elixir within the body's own internal crucible. The lung dragon does not hoard gold, but bestows it, often depicted holding or guarding the luminous pearl of wisdom. This pearl is the Eastern equivalent of the philosopher's stone, a symbol of enlightenment, perfected essence, and the unified consciousness that emerges when one's personal energy aligns completely with the cosmic flow. So, while the imagery shifts from a battling knight to a meditating sage, the core revelation remains stunningly consistent. The dragon, in all its forms, is the living symbol of the raw, potent, and ultimately benevolent force that drives all spiritual transformation. It asks us whether we see the untamed parts of ourselves as adversaries to be slain or as majestic, celestial powers waiting for our conscious collaboration. This secret fire was known to the alchemists as the ignis innaturalis, the unnatural fire. It is not the flame of a common hearth, nor is it the destructive blaze of a forest fire. This is a divine spark, a sliver of celestial light that fell into the dark waters of matter at the dawn of creation, and it resides, dormant, within the heart of the dragon and within the very core of your being. It is the latent spiritual energy that sleeps in the deepest layers of your consciousness, waiting for a key to turn in the lock. The dragon does not merely guard this fire, it is this fire incarnate. Its scales are the solidified sparks, its breath the visible exhalation of this hidden, potent force. To awaken this fire is the primary task of the spiritual alchemist, for without its unique, penetrating heat, no true transmutation of the soul can ever occur. Think of a brilliant idea that suddenly flashes into your mind, a moment of pure intuition that seems to come from nowhere and illuminates everything. That sudden, clear light is a flicker of the secret fire, or recall a time you felt a surge of unconditional love, a compassion so profound it felt like it could not possibly have originated from your personal self. That, too, is a spark from this same divine source. This ignis innaturalis is the true fuel for the alchemical furnace. Common fire can burn wood, but only this secret, unnatural fire can burn through illusion, through fear, and through the leaden weight of your own past conditioning. Awakening it, however, is a delicate art. It is not achieved through force of will, like trying to strike a damp match. You cannot command this fire, you can only prepare the vessel and invite it to awaken. This preparation is the long and patient work of purification we have discussed, the sealing of the alchemical retort through self-observation and discipline. It is the quieting of the mind's constant chatter so that a deeper signal can be heard. When the vessel is clean and sealed, when the chaotic energies of the Prima Materia have been gathered and contained, the conditions are finally right. Then, through an act of deep surrender and focused intention, a spark is struck. It might feel like a sudden rush of energy up the spine, a profound sense of inner peace that descends for no reason, or a vivid dream that shifts your entire perspective. This is the ignis in naturalis stirring from its long slumber. Once awakened, the work shifts to direction. This divine fire has a will of its own, an intelligence that seeks to purify and unify. Your role is to become a conscious cooperator with its flow, to let it burn away what it must without resistance. It will seek out every hidden pocket of fear, every crystallized resentment, every forgotten sorrow, and it will subject them to its transformative heat. This process can be intensely challenging, for it feels like your very foundation is being heated from within. Yet this is the fire that does not destroy, but refines. It is the sacred flame that turns the base metal of your fragmented self into the unified gold of an illuminated consciousness. The dragon guarding this treasure was never your enemy, but the fierce protector of your own most sacred potential. Every legendary treasure has its guardian, and in the soul's alchemical journey, the dragon plays this role with fierce perfection. It coils around the ultimate prize, the philosopher's stone, not to keep it from you forever, but to ensure you are truly ready to receive it. This is the dragon's final and most misunderstood purpose. The treasure it guards is nothing less than your own fully realized self, a state of wholeness and enlightenment often symbolized by the stone itself. And the dragon is the living embodiment of every internal obstacle that stands between you and that gold. Think of a profound personal breakthrough you have had. It likely did not arrive during a moment of peace and comfort, but emerged only after you navigated a period of intense difficulty, fear, or self-doubt. That challenging terrain is the dragon's domain. It manifests as the voice of your inner critic, the heavy weight of an old trauma, the seductive pull of a familiar vice, or the sheer terror of stepping into the unknown. These are not random misfortunes. They are the specific, personalized guardians of your own transformation. The dragon does not merely block the path, it is the path. To reach the treasure, you must walk directly through the fire of your own fears and the shadow of your own resistance. The cave where the dragon dwells is the dark, unexplored chamber of your own psyche. It is the place where you have hidden away the parts of yourself you deemed unacceptable, the wounds you never wanted to touch, and the potentials you were too afraid to claim. The dragon guards this cave because it holds the very raw materials, the lead, that must be confronted and transmuted to create the gold. Its fiery breath is the anxiety that flares up when you consider changing your life. Its impenetrable scales are the defensive walls you have built around your heart. Its formidable presence is the sheer magnitude of the work required to become who you are truly meant to be. So the question is not how to slay the dragon and take the treasure by force. That approach only leads to a temporary victory, for the treasure would be stolen, not earned, and its value would be meaningless. The true alchemical work is to understand the dragon, to learn its nature, and to realize that the guardian and the treasure are intimately connected. By facing the fear, you gain the courage that was always hidden within it. By integrating the shadow, you reclaim the power you had locked away. The dragon's fire, when you stop running from it, becomes the very refiner's flame that purifies your spirit. When you can stand in the presence of your deepest demons without being consumed by them, you have not defeated the dragon, you have passed its test. And in that moment, the guardian steps aside, not because it has been conquered, but because it recognizes in you the rightful heir to the throne of your own soul. The treasure was never hidden from you. It was hidden for you until you were strong enough, wise enough, and whole enough to claim it as your own. Some of the most intricate alchemical drawings depict a dragon with not one, but 7 distinct heads. This is no random monster, but a detailed map of the complete purification process, where each head corresponds to one of the 7 classical planets and their associated metals. The 7 planets are not just distant celestial bodies, They are symbolic mirrors reflecting the 7 core aspects of your own personality and consciousness. The dragon embodies the raw, unrefined state of these aspects, and its 7 heads show that the great work is not a single battle, but a sustained campaign to transmute every facet of your being. The first head is often linked to Saturn and its metal lead. This head represents the part of you bound by time, limitation, and fear. It is your inner critic, your tendency toward melancholy, and the rigid structures you mistake for safety. The next head is Jupiter, connected to Tin. This is the aspect that seeks expansion, status, and philosophical understanding, yet can become bloated with self-importance and hollow optimism. Mars, with its sharp iron, forms the third head, embodying your raw will, courage, and aggression, a force that can protect or destroy depending on its direction. The fourth head belongs to Venus and her copper, ruling your capacity for love, beauty, and relationship, which can descend into vanity, possessiveness, or the pursuit of mere pleasure. The fifth is Mercury, represented by Quicksilver, the ever-flowing mind that communicates and adapts, but can also lie, distract, and never settle on a single truth. The Sun and its gold form the sixth head, your core identity and conscious will, the kingly aspect that can shine with generosity or be eclipsed by sheer egotism. Finally, the seventh head is the Moon and its silver, your intuition, dreams, and emotional tides, which can provide profound insight or drown you in illusion and moodiness. This 7-headed beast is the complete picture of the unrefined soul. The alchemical process involves confronting each of these planetary heads in turn, not to cut them off, but to purify the metal each one represents. You take the leaden weight of Saturnian fear and, through the inner fire, transform it into the golden wisdom of acceptance. You refine the tin of Jupiterian ambition into a genuine, humble authority. You temper the iron of Martian anger into unwavering, disciplined courage. You transmute the copper of Venusian attachment into unconditional love. You stabilize the mercury of a scattered mind into a fluid, penetrating intelligence. You redeem the silver of lunar emotion into clear, reflective intuition, and you consolidate the solar gold of your ego into a radiant, selfless consciousness. This is the ultimate decoding of the dragon. Its many heads are not a sign of multiplied evil, but a promise of complete transformation. Where in your life do you recognize the distinct voices of these planetary metals, clamoring for attention? The journey to wholeness requires you to listen to each one, to understand its unique language, and to guide them all toward their highest, most golden expression. Taming the dragon is not an act of force, but a profound inner negotiation. This process, detailed in cryptic alchemical manuscripts, has nothing to do with breaking a wild spirit. It is the art of building a relationship with the immense power of your own nature, learning to guide its fire rather than being scorched by it. The untamed dragon is a force of pure reaction. A sudden surge of anger that makes you say something you regret, a wave of anxiety that paralyzes you for a day, a compulsive desire that leads you down a familiar, unhelpful path. These are all moments when the dragon is in control, when its raw, chaotic energy is using you. The goal of taming is to reverse this dynamic, to become the conscious rider of this magnificent beast. How do you begin? The first step is always observation without judgment. When a powerful emotion arises, instead of immediately acting on it or suppressing it, you simply notice it. You might say to yourself, there is the fiery dragon of my anger, or there is the heavy dragon of my fear. This simple act of naming and witnessing creates a crucial space between the impulse and your reaction. In that space, your conscious will is born. You are no longer the emotion itself, you are the one observing it. This is the moment you first lay a hand on the dragon's scales. The next step involves redirection. A raging fire can burn down a house, but that same fire, contained within a forge, can shape the strongest steel. Your passions are no different. The dragon's fire of ambition, when untamed, can manifest as ruthless competitiveness and jealousy, but when tamed, that exact same energy becomes the unwavering discipline and drive required to master a craft or build a meaningful life. The powerful instinct for self-preservation when wild can make you paranoid and selfish. When tamed, it transforms into a healthy sense of boundaries and a deep, intuitive wisdom that keeps you safe. The alchemist learns to channel the dragon's breath into the athenor of their own purpose. This is not about elimination, it is about alchemical translation. You are taking the same raw, potent energy and directing it toward a higher, more constructive end. Think of a river that floods its banks, causing destruction. That is the untamed dragon. Now picture that same river harnessed by a water wheel, its flow generating power for an entire village. The river has not changed its essential nature, only its application. You are the engineer of that water wheel for your own soul. The ultimate sign of a tamed dragon is not silence, but a harmonious partnership. Its power becomes a source of strength you can call upon at will, not a storm that crashes into your life without warning. Your instincts become sharp guides rather than overwhelming compulsions. Your passions fuel your creativity instead of consuming your peace. This is the true harvest of the great work, where the guardian of the treasure becomes your most powerful ally. That final golden state of wholeness is what the alchemists call the quintessence, and the dragon is its ultimate creator. While the four traditional elements of earth, air, fire, and water represent the fragmented aspects of our being, the quintessence is the fifth element, the unified spirit that arises when all those warring parts have been perfectly reconciled. It is the substance of the philosopher's stone itself, the immortal core of your consciousness that remains after the long fires of transformation have burned away everything that is not truly you. The dragon, in its completed work, does not just guard this essence, it secretes it. Think of the final stage in a master alchemist's laboratory. After years of patient heating, cooling, dissolving, and coagulating the Prima Materia, a strange, luminous substance begins to appear. It is not a solid, a liquid, or a gas, but something that seems to exist between and beyond all known states of matter. This is the quintessence, and it is the direct result of the dragon's chaotic energies having been fully integrated and refined. In your own life, this is the profound sense of peace and unshakable identity that can emerge after you have faced a great personal crisis and integrated the lessons it brought. It is the feeling that you are no longer at war with yourself, that your passions, your intellect, your body, and your spirit are all finally working in concert toward a single, harmonious purpose. This state is not a passive bliss, but a dynamic and potent equilibrium. It is the dragon's fire, now perfectly balanced and directed, no longer threatening to consume you, but providing a constant, warm radiance. It is the dragon's heavy earth, no longer holding you down, but giving you an unshakable foundation in reality. The quintessence is the eternal part of you that observes the changing seasons of your life without being defined by them. You can experience joy without clinging to it, and sorrow without being drowned by it, because this golden core remains untouched. How do you recognize this quintessence in moments of daily life? It might appear as a sudden, silent clarity in the middle of a chaotic situation where you just know the right thing to do. It could be a deep, wordless sense of connection to the world around you, where everything feels inherently meaningful. These are fleeting tastes of the stone, hints that the dragon's great work is progressing within you. The ultimate goal is to make this state your permanent residence, to become so aligned with this refined essence that it permeates your every thought, word, and action. This is the dragon's final gift, the reason for its fierce guardianship all along. It was not hoarding the gold to keep it from you, but to protect it until you were capable of embodying its radiant, quintessential nature. This vibrant, untamed life force finds its purest symbol in the green dragon, where the final gold represents a finished and perfected state. The dragon, in its verdant, youthful form, embodies the raw, surging beginning of the entire alchemical journey. It is the primal, vegetative energy of nature itself, the same unstoppable force that pushes a seed through concrete or sends vines creeping up an ancient wall. This is not a gentle, pastoral green, but a potent, almost electric vitality that can both create and corrode. The green dragon is the very essence of the Prima Materia in its most active and volatile state, teeming with potential but lacking any stable form. Its primary power is one of dissolution, a necessary and often uncomfortable acid that begins the great work by breaking down the rigid structures of your ego. Think of the stubborn beliefs you have held for years, the stories about who you are and what you are capable of achieving. These stories form a kind of mental scaffolding, giving your identity a sense of solidity and safety. The green dragon does not politely ask this structure to change. It secretes a powerful solvent that eats away at its very foundations. This can feel like a period of intense disorientation, where your old certainties begin to soften and lose their meaning. A career you once found fulfilling might suddenly feel hollow. Relationships based on old patterns may start to chafe and fray. This is not a sign that your life is falling apart, but a signal that the green dragon is at work within you, applying its necessary acid to the lead of your conditioned self. Its job is to return you to a state of raw potential, to break apart the hardened forms so that something new and more authentic can eventually coalesce. This dissolving power is an act of profound mercy, even when it feels like chaos. It is the dragon's way of clearing the ground, creating the fertile, black earth from which your true gold can one day grow. Can you identify a place in your life where an old structure is currently softening, where something that once felt solid now seems uncertain? That very discomfort may be the first, unmistakable breath of the green dragon, inviting you to begin the real work of transformation. Yet this vibrant green energy is not the dragon's final form. From the dissolving acid of the green dragon emerges its ultimate counterpart, the red dragon, a being of pure, concentrated power that signifies the culmination of the great work. If the green dragon is the chaotic, untamed beginning, the red dragon is the glorious, perfected end. It embodies the rubedo stage, the final and most celebrated phase of the alchemical process, whose very name means reddening. This is not the red of spilled blood, but the rich, luminous crimson of a perfected spirit, a consciousness that has fully mastered its own inner fire. Where the green dragon's power was used to break down and dissolve, the red dragon's fire is used to integrate and radiate. Imagine the difference between a roaring, uncontrolled forest fire and the contained, brilliant flame of a master blacksmith's forge. One clears the land while the other expertly shapes the strongest steel. The red dragon is that master smith of the soul. Its emergence signifies that the long, arduous work of self-purification is complete. The warring elements within you, the volatile sulfur and the fluid mercury, have been perfectly balanced and fixed. The 7 heads of the beast have been unified into a single, focused will. The fiery passions that once threatened to consume you are now the very source of your unwavering conviction and compassion. This is the fully integrated and empowered consciousness, a state where you are no longer driven by your impulses, but are the conscious director of your entire being. The red dragon does not hoard its treasure in a dark cave, for it has become the living treasure itself. Its scales gleam with the hard-won gold of self-realization, and its breath is the warmth of a spirit that has made peace with all parts of itself. This is the final transformation where the guardian and the gold are forever united as one. These intricate illustrations were far more than decoration. They were dense maps of consciousness, and the dragon was their central landmark. In the pages of the Splendor Solis, you might find a magnificent winged dragon coiled around a radiant sun, its body forming a perfect circle. This is not a random design. The dragon encircling the sun represents the volatile spirit, the sulfur embracing and containing the fixed core of your identity. It shows that your raw, untamed energy is not the enemy of your true self, but its necessary container and protector. The circular form echoes the Ouroboros, reminding you that this is a cyclical process of containment and release. In another famous image from the same text, a knight stands before a dragon, not with a sword raised to strike, but in a posture of dialogue or even reverence. The battle has shifted from a physical conflict to an internal conference. This depicts the stage of taming where the conscious ego learns to communicate with the primal force, understanding its language and its needs. The treasure is nearby, but the knight is no longer trying to steal it. He is waiting to be deemed worthy of receiving it. turn to the emblems of the Atalantafugians, and the symbolism grows even more precise. One powerful engraving shows a dragon biting its own tail, but with a critical addition. A star shines brightly above its head, and a stream of light connects the two. Here, the dragon's self-reflective cycle is being guided by a higher influence, a celestial intelligence. This illustrates that the raw process of solve et coagula is not a blind, mechanical force. It is a spiritual operation that must be illuminated by conscious awareness, by that spark of the secret fire from above. The dragon is the engine, but the star is the navigator. Another emblem from this series might depict a dragon and a lion in combat. The lion, representing the fixed solar consciousness, struggles with the volatile mercurial dragon. This is the dramatic visualization of the internal conflict between your structured will and your chaotic, transformative energies. The image does not show a victor because the goal is not a fight to the death, but a resolution that births something entirely new from their struggle. Every scale, every wing, and every drop of blood in these woodcuts and paintings was placed with intentional symbolism. A dragon with its wings spread wide signifies the moment the volatile spirit is released and ascends. A dragon bound in chains shows the necessary fixation of that same spirit, grounding its power into a stable form. The color, even in black and white prints, is implied through context. A green dragon often appears at the beginning of a sequence, representing the acidic, dissolving Prima Materia. A red or golden dragon emerges at the end, symbolizing the achieved stone, the fully integrated and perfected being. These artists were not merely illustrating a concept, they were providing a visual meditation for the aspiring alchemist, a focus point for the inner work. By contemplating the image of the seven-headed dragon, you are not just learning about the seven planets. You are invited to look within and identify the seven distinct voices of your own soul, to see how each one clamors for dominance and how each must be purified. These manuscripts were secret textbooks for the soul's metamorphosis, and the dragon was the primary teacher, its form shifting on the page to mirror the stages of your own unfolding transformation. What would your personal alchemical emblem look like, and what part of the dragon's journey would it capture in this very moment? This sacred union is known as the chemical wedding, and the dragon is the honored guest of both the bride and groom. In this profound inner ceremony, the dragon embodies one of the two essential partners, typically the volatile, masculine principle of spirit and fire. Its counterpart is the fixed, feminine principle of soul and form. For centuries, these forces have been depicted as a king and queen, a solar lion and a lunar eagle, or a winged and a wingless dragon. They are the fundamental polarity within you, the soaring aspiration and the grounding reality, the thinker and the feeler. The chemical wedding is not a battle for dominance, but a sacred ritual of integration where these two long-separated lovers are finally reconciled. The dragon's role is crucial, for it brings the untamed, fiery passion and the raw, creative will to the altar. Without its volatile energy, the union would be sterile, a fixed structure with no life or motion. Yet this fiery guest cannot simply crash the ceremony. It must be prepared, its chaotic power refined into a conscious and directed force, ready to pledge itself to its opposite. This is the moment when your spiritual ambitions willingly embrace the practical realities of your human experience. It is the point where a profound insight does not remain a fleeting thought, but descends into your heart and bones, changing how you actually live your life. When the volatile dragon and the fixed queen join in this holy embrace, they give birth to a new state of being, the divine androgyne. This is not a physical being, but a symbol of the soul's ultimate wholeness, where all inner divisions have ceased. In this state, you are neither purely masculine nor purely feminine, neither solely spiritual nor solely material. You are a complete and self-sufficient unity, a being in whom the dragon's fire and the queen's wisdom are forever united as one consciousness. Have you ever experienced a moment of perfect clarity where a deep feeling and a brilliant thought became indistinguishable, where your inner world and your outer actions felt completely aligned? That is a fleeting taste of this chemical wedding. The dragon, once seen as a monster to be slain, is revealed as the essential partner in your own spiritual union, the fiery force whose final surrender to love creates a wholeness far greater than the sum of its parts. Carl Jung saw the alchemical dragon not as a myth, but as a precise map of the human psyche. He recognized in these ancient symbols a universal language for the process of becoming whole, a journey he called individuation. To Jung, the dragon was the embodiment of the shadow archetype, that vast and hidden part of yourself containing everything you have repressed, denied, or simply failed to recognize. It is the repository of your primitive instincts, your unacceptable desires, your hidden talents, and even your greatest potential, all existing outside the light of your conscious awareness. This dragon is not evil, but it is undeniably powerful and often terrifying to the conscious mind, which prefers a neat and orderly self-image. When you encounter a trait in someone else that provokes an immediate, irrational reaction of anger or disgust, you are often catching a glimpse of your own shadow dragon projected outward. Your intense dislike for a person's arrogance, for instance, might point directly to your own deeply buried fears of being perceived as arrogant, a part of yourself you have locked away in the dragon's cave. The alchemical instruction to confront the dragon is, in Jungian terms, the essential work of confronting this shadow. This is not an intellectual exercise. It requires courageously descending into your own unconscious and making the unknown known. It means facing the parts of you that feel shameful, the childhood wounds you have never fully acknowledged, the secret jealousies and petty resentments you would never admit to aloud. This confrontation is the modern equivalent of the knight entering the dragon's territory, but the goal is not a slaying. The aim is integration, to reclaim these disowned parts and bring them into the totality of your being. Why would you willingly do this? Because any part of you that remains in the shadow holds a certain autonomy over you. An unacknowledged fear of abandonment can dictate your relationships. A repressed anger can leak out as passive aggression or chronic illness. The dragon you refuse to face will control you from the darkness. Integrating the shadow, however, releases this trapped energy and makes it available for your conscious life. The fierce aggression of the dragon, when integrated, becomes the assertive energy needed to set boundaries and pursue your goals. Its primal sexuality becomes a source of vital life force and deep connection. Its chaotic creativity becomes the wellspring of genuine innovation. Jung saw the entire alchemical process as a symbolic depiction of this psychological integration, where the lead of the shadow is transmuted into the gold of a more complete and authentic self. The philosopher's stone, then, is the achieved state of psychological wholeness, where you are no longer divided against yourself, where you can honestly say, "I am both the knight and the dragon," and in that acceptance find a power more profound than either could possess alone. That fiery breath can forge a golden self, but it can also burn down the entire kingdom of your mind. The dragon's power holds a profound and often overlooked danger, a state the great psychologist Carl Jung called spiritual inflation. This is the moment the alchemical vessel cracks, when the immense archetypal energies of the unconscious surge into a conscious mind that is simply not strong enough to contain them. The ego, instead of humbly witnessing the dragon's fire, makes a fatal mistake. It identifies with the power. It begins to believe it is the dragon. You might experience this as a sudden, intoxicating conviction that you have achieved enlightenment, that you possess secret knowledge far beyond others, or that you are a chosen instrument for a grand cosmic mission. This is not genuine transformation, but a psychic hijacking. The ego, feeling small and fragile, latches onto the raw majesty of the dragon and puts on its scales like a costume. It is a defense mechanism against the truly humbling process of being remade, a desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable. The result is not wisdom, but a kind of spiritual delusion where personal insights are mistaken for universal truths and inner experiences are projected onto the world as grandiose fantasies. Think of someone who, after a powerful dream or a single profound meditation, suddenly believes they can heal others with a touch, or that they are receiving direct messages from divine beings. This is the ungrounded fire of the dragon, untempered by the heavy, earthly salt of reality. The alchemists knew this peril intimately. Their entire art was built on the slow, patient application of gentle, consistent heat, not a roaring inferno that shatters the glass. A true spiritual awakening integrates and humbles you. It connects you more deeply to others and to the simple, grounded realities of life. Inflation, by contrast, isolates and elevates. It makes you feel special and separate, above the mundane concerns that anchor the rest of humanity. Without the balancing weight of the wingless dragon, the celestial beast soars into madness. The path of genuine transformation demands that we approach this inner fire not as conquerors, but as respectful students. It requires the humility to acknowledge that we are not the source of this power, merely its temporary vessels. How do you know if you are working with the fire or being consumed by it? The answer lies in your connection to the earth. Can you still wash the dishes, pay your bills, and listen to a friend's troubles with genuine empathy after your profound experience? If your spiritual insights do not make you more human, more compassionate, and more grounded, then it is not the gold you have found, but the dragon's illusion. The true test of the alchemical journey is not how high you can fly, but how well you can bring that celestial fire back down to earth to warm the humble, daily life you are meant to live. You can invite the dragon to sit with you in the quiet space of your own breath. Begin by finding a comfortable position and closing your eyes, letting the external world fade into the background. In the inner darkness, visualize the dragon not as a distant myth, but as a living presence within you. See its form taking shape, perhaps as a coiled serpent of shadow at the base of your spine, or a winged guardian in the cave of your heart. Do not command it, simply observe it. Notice the texture of its scales, the rhythm of its breath, the temperature of the air around it. This initial act of observation is the first step in building your alchemical vessel, creating a conscious container where you can meet this powerful aspect of yourself without being overwhelmed. Now gently bring to mind a specific challenge you are facing, a recurring fear, a stubborn resentment, or a compulsive thought. Watch as this issue materializes before the dragon as a lump of dark, heavy lead. This is your personal prima materia, the raw emotional substance you wish to transform. The dragon will likely react. Its fire may flare in anger at the injustice you feel, or it might recoil in fear mirroring your own. Simply witness this interaction without judgment. You are not the lead, and you are not the dragon's reaction. You are the alchemist observing the process within the sealed retort of your awareness. Now direct the dragon's breath toward that lump of lead. Do not force it to destroy the problem, but invite it to apply its sacred, refining heat. Visualize the dragon's fire not as a destructive blaze, but as a penetrating, golden warmth that begins to surround the dark mass. Watch as the lead softens under this consistent heat. The sharp edges of your anger may begin to melt. The rigid form of your fear might start to liquefy. This is the solve, the necessary dissolution of your old, hardened emotional patterns. It is uncomfortable, but it is essential. As the substance becomes fluid, ask the dragon to help you separate the pure from the impure. See the dross, the fears and attachments that are not part of your true essence fall away like black slag. What remains is a brighter, more luminous liquid, the essential truth hidden within the original problem. This is the moment of coagulation. With the dragon's patient presence, visualize this purified substance cooling and solidifying into a new form, a small, shining piece of gold. This gold is the wisdom gained from the experience, the courage forged from the fear, the compassion born from the pain. Place this new golden awareness back into your heart, a tangible result of your inner work. Thank the dragon, acknowledging its role not as an adversary, but as the essential force that made this transmutation possible. Each time you practice this, you strengthen your relationship with your own inner power, learning to ride the dragon instead of being consumed by it. Where in your life can you apply this sacred heat today? These ancient dragon symbols are not relics of a forgotten past. They are living energies actively invoked in modern esoteric traditions. In the sacred circles of neopagan rituals, the dragon is felt as the powerful ley lines coursing through the earth and the raw, untamed life force rising within the practitioner's own body. When a witch calls the quarters, drawing a circle of protection and power, they are often invoking the spirit of the dragon to guard that sacred space, to be the living boundary between the mundane world and the realm of magic. This is not about worshiping a mythical beast, but about aligning your personal energy with a vast archetypal current of primal power. The dragon becomes a focal point for raising what is known as the cone of power, a vortex of concentrated intention that can be directed toward healing, manifestation, or deep spiritual insight. In ceremonial magic, with its intricate symbols and disciplined practices, the dragon is the volatile energy that the magician must learn to command. Rituals are, in essence, a form of conscious alchemy. The magician stands within their own sealed vessel, the magic circle, and through willpower and precise invocation, they summon the dragon's fire from the depths of their own being. They might visualize it as a great serpent of light coiling up the spine, awakening each energy center, or as a majestic, winged presence whose breath fuels the manifestation of their desire. The ultimate goal is the same as that of the medieval alchemist, to achieve the knowledge and conversation of your holy guardian angel, a state of profound inner unity. The dragon is the raw power that makes this sublime connection possible, the very current that carries your awareness to those higher realms. How can you begin to work with this energy in your own life, even without formal ritual? Start by recognizing the dragon in your daily emotions. That sudden surge of creative inspiration is the dragon stirring. That flash of righteous anger at an injustice is its fire. The key is to channel that surge, not let it dissipate or explode. When you feel that rush, pause for a moment, close your eyes, feel the energy in your body, and consciously direct it. Visualize it as a stream of light flowing from your heart to your hands, perhaps to be poured into a creative project or used to set a healthy boundary with clear, firm words. This is modern, practical alchemy. You are taking the prima materia of a raw emotional reaction and, through conscious direction, transmuting it into the gold of empowered action. Your spiritual evolution is fueled by this same sacred fire, inviting you to stop seeing your power as a monster in a cave and start recognizing it as the most loyal and potent ally you will ever know. The dragon's journey through alchemy is a map of your own transformation, a path from raw chaos to golden enlightenment. It begins as the wild prima materia, that untamed chaos within you, the storm of conflicting desires and unrefined potential. This dragon is not an enemy to be destroyed, but the very substance of your becoming. Its fire, the volatile sulfur, is your will and passion, the engine of all change. Its earthy body, the fixed salt, grounds that fire in the reality of your body and your deepest instincts. Through the sealed vessel of conscious awareness, these warring elements engage in their sacred dance, dissolving and coagulating in the eternal cycle of the Ouroboros. The night's battle, the dragon's blood, the seven heads, and the final reddening are all stages in this one magnificent process, leading to the ultimate prize, the philosopher's stone, which is your own fully realized and integrated self. This symbol teaches a profound truth that the guardian of the treasure and the treasure itself were never separate. The power you sought to conquer was always the key to your own liberation. So what part of your own nature feels like a dragon waiting in a dark cave? Is it a creative fire you are afraid to unleash, a deep sorrow you have walled away, or a stubborn habit that feels too heavy to shift? Engaging with this ancient symbol is not an academic exercise. It is an invitation to begin the greatest adventure of all, the alchemy of your own soul. Your inner dragon is not a monster. It is the most powerful ally you will ever know, waiting to guide you from the lead of your fears to the gold of your true purpose.